Good morning to you. Happy Monday. This is another day that we're able to see each other. This is another day that we have the ability to grow, progress, and ultimately reach towards the things that we have set out for ourselves, the things that we want, and acknowledging the processes that we take in order to get to that moment. It takes work, um, like solid work. But the thing about the work itself is, are we willing to get there to make it happen? And sometimes we're going to have to find it, like find our way, find those things that we have inside of ourselves that is going to um, make it a lot more beneficial when we get there. Because a lot of times when we work so hard on something and the reward of our efforts is shown in what we reap, or the rewards of our efforts is shown in the period of the harvest, that makes the planting season even greater. That makes what we worked on well worth it, right? Why work on something if it's not going to show uh, a harvest, or to show some sort of progress in the end or within at the same time? So yeah, we're going to do it. Again, we already went past the very first week of 2023. The first week has been accomplished. You have checked that block. Pat yourself on the back, get yourself a hand clap for getting through the first week of 2023. It is Monday. There's someone who didn't make it through the weekend. It's Monday. There's someone who didn't even make it this morning, to be able to see someone else because their life was cut short, or there was a situation that took them out. But you're here. You're here with me as well as I'm here with you. Peace. Good morning, Miss Teresa. Glad you're here, able to see me alive and well. I can see you digitally. You can see me digitally. But this is what it's about. Just paying attention to our gifts and paying attention to, life in general, because life is really a roller coaster. There are things that's happening all around us, but what do we do with the things that we're dealing with? Like, what do we do in those moments when it's not so happy? In those moments where you're receiving stuff all over the place, but we have to do with us. Like, how do we deal with us? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to put the question up. That is going to be the question of the day that I want you to answer. Do you have treasures within? That's what we're talking about today. Today's podcast is about treasures within. So my question that is proposed to you is, do you have treasures within? That's an honest question. That's only going to be answered by those who are willing to be honest and transparent within itself. You may be looking for, or still looking for, your treasures within, but it's completely up to you. Like, are you going to get there? Are you going to reach it? Are you going to assume it for yourself? But looking for the treasures within, that's the fun part. Sometimes it can be hard, and sometimes, all that stuff, it really is going to need to be worked out. Not sure. Okay. I'm sure at the end of this, you're going to pull something out of you, or you're going to see something about yourself that you can identify as a treasure. And when you identify it as a treasure, I want you to understand that it takes focus to acknowledge that there is a treasure within inside of you. And it is a treasure that you can now learn how to pull the rest of them out. Learn how to identify them immediately by sight, as well as learn how to utilize them for its own purpose and its own nature and its own good. Those treasures that you have within. All right, so before we jump dead into it, again, like always, I'm gonna show my gratitude. I'm gonna show my appreciation for you being here. Um, but what I want you to do is take this live and share it in a Facebook group, or take this live and share it with a friend, because I know that this is going to touch someone, because you've made it through the 2022. And like I always say, reconcile with 2022, because that time and that time period, it no longer physically exists, and we're not in that 2022 season anymore. We are in a 2023 year time group. So reconcile with what you wished you could have done, or what you should, or what you said you were going to do, and that if you didn't do it, reconcile with that. And now it's time to go treasure hunting, because the treasures that are within. So let's go ahead and switch this screen real quick and go ahead and begin this process of treasures within. So after you take the live and you share it, go ahead and put the word done inside the chat. And once you're finished with sharing it and you put the word done inside the chat, what I want you to do is to go ahead and put treasure inside the chat, because we're going to examine some things that I want you to pay attention to as we go through this podcast conversation about treasures within. It's going to be completely beneficial. Like, I claim it. I already see it. It was beneficial to me just by creating it, because those who know, my podcast is created like in the morning. It's not something that was created days ago or weeks ago. Sometimes it comes that way, but a lot of times it's created in the morning just before I go live. So it's so fresh that uh it's I'm just gonna say it's so fresh and so clean. Right. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So you're going to get definitions of words, whether it's going to be inverted in red or white. If I say red, just focus on the words that are in red. If I say white, focus on the words that are in white. And if I don't say nothing at all, that means there's no inversion. That means the definition is what it is. And as this interactive platform, you're able to communicate with how you see it. So let's go ahead and take the first one. So the first definition of treasures, it says the quality of precious metals, gems, or other valuable objects. Peace. Good morning, Miss Morton. The quality of precious metals, gems, or other valuable objects. So what I want you to pay attention to are the inversion of white over red. So it's the quality, precious, or valuable. Like those natural treasures, or those natural gems, or those natural jewels that you have inside of your chest. That's your most innermost essence. The quality, precious, or valuable. Like, you're valuable within yourself. There are precious gifts that you have within yourself. But you have to acknowledge that those things that you have within inside of you are quality. And it's okay to understand that the quality and the precious and the values that you have, they're meant for you. They're meant for you, and they're meant for your own good. But you have to see it as something precious that's not meant to be shared by everyone. It's not meant to be communicated with everyone, because not everyone is going to value it the same way as you do. It's just definition. I'm just giving you definition, and you can see it before yourself. The things that you consider as your most precious treasure is not always going to be valued the same by everyone. But the only person that should hold it in its high standard, or in its highest of value, should be you. So you have a treasure within, but how do you see it? Right? How do you see that treasure? And we're going to get more into that part of how, like, how do you see it? All right. In the second definition of treasure, it says to keep or look after something very carefully because it is very valuable or important to you. That kind of goes in the previous definition, but it actually kind of brings it home and it kind of aligns itself with what the other definition was about, because it says to keep or look after something very carefully because it is very important. I mean, it's very valuable or important to you. There's too many times we're looking at what other people are having because we're looking at what is considered their treasure. But you have your own. You have your own treasure. Like, where are your values? Where are the things that you have that is inside of you? Those things are important too. Stop valuing other people's treasure because you have your own treasure. You have your own thing that you need to be carefully viewing. I think too many times a lot of us has looked at other people's treasure box and we wish we had that. We wish we had that in our treasure chest. We wish we had, oh man, that's a nice jewel. That's a nice diamond that person has. How come my diamond don't shine like their diamond? I'm gonna tell you why, because maybe that's not the diamond that you've meant that is meant for you to have. Right? Let's break down diamond just a little bit and how it works for people. So for me, diamond is the breaking out of procrastination, right? Diamond is breaking out of your procrastination because you can go treasure hunting inside of somebody else's treasure chest and find a diamond and you want to hold true to it and find value in it. But when you have your own diamond, you don't see the value the same way because you didn't want to work on it anymore. Your procrastination no longer allowed you to see the coal that you had in yourself that need to be worked on. So you procrastinated for far too long that it was never turned into a diamond. But that other person had that diamond because they've gone through the pressure. They've gone through that pressure and it was crushed and molded and it was gone through so much pain that it is a diamond to them. But you forgot that you can do it too. You have stuff that hurt. You have pain. You have crying moments. You have moments when it feels like nothing is working out. But when you take the procrastination out of it and you start working on that thing and you start applying pressure to it because you know that you have the ability to shine just as well as everybody else, then you're going to start looking at it as a precious diamond because you worked on it. It's valuable to you because it's yours. That's the thing that you went through. It's going to shine different. Your diamond is going to shine different than anybody else's diamond because you worked on it. It hurt, but you worked on it. It cut you, but you worked on it. You've cried to make it happen, but you worked on it. That's why your diamond shines different. My diamond, I don't want my diamond to shine like your diamond because I know the pressure that I took and the pressure that I've gone through in order for me to knock the coal. The procrastination had to be knocked out in order for me to have my diamond to shine as bright as it is right now because I had to see value in it. I had to carefully examine why I've gone through what I've gone through in order for me to find value in it. I don't care if it's important to you as long as it's important to me. That's that diamond. The diamond is the absence of procrastination because now the pressure of no longer procrastinating, that becomes the jewel because you worked on it and you persevered through all of the pain and the anguish and the heat. And now it becomes a diamond and you value yourself a whole lot more than what you've ever done in the past. Because it's important, right? So let's go through this definition of treasure, and then we're going to go into the deep dive. This is the one that I love, and it really hit home for me. So this says the concentration of wealth. Treasure, remember treasure is the word, like treasures within. Pay attention. The definition of treasure here, it says the concentration of wealth that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. A concentration of wealth that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. And the inversion on this is white over red, the concentration that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. Now, with this one, you can play with the word rediscovered a little bit because sometimes things can't be rediscovered because it was never discovered to begin with. Because there are treasures that you have within inside of you that you've never known about, but now you begin to pull it out. So it's not rediscovered, it is discovered. And let's look at the word concentration. Like, where is your focus? Like, what have been your focus? Like, imagine something, and I want you to paint this picture. You're going on a treasure hunt, right? You're going on a treasure hunt. So now my question to you is, if you're going on a treasure hunt, what are the things that you should have or take with you? That's a question. I want you to answer that question. Like, put it inside the chat. If you are going on a treasure hunt, what items or what things do you know that you have to have with you, that you should, or what you feel or what you consider to take with you? What are those items? And as you answer those questions, then I'm gonna go into what's coming up next. But remember, we're looking at the concentration. Like, what are you taking with you before you go on this treasure hunt? Like, you get your bag and you put all this stuff inside of your bag. Like, what are those items? So when you answer that, we'll go to the next thing. All right. So again, in this definition, it says the concentration of wealth that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. The inversion again is a concentration that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. Miss Antoinette said tools to dig up the diamonds. She said taking a compass. Tools to dig up the diamond. So now you got to have a pickaxe. So that means she's saying that she wants to have a pickaxe. So now that she has to have a pickaxe, that means that she knows that it's going to take work. If I'm ever going to see the diamonds that is buried deep within inside of me, I am going to have this tool to dig deep, because the thing that I'm dealing with is no longer surface. I have to dig so deep inside of myself, or I have to dig so deep inside of this situation, that I have to have the proper tools in order for me to get there. And Miss Teresa said a map. A map, motivation, paper, pen, water. I'm going to tell you what that is. That is your determination. Because the map is you actually wanting to go and guiding. That's the guidance, because the map is going to guide you. It's going to let you know, like, what's your left limit? What's your right limit? Like, you know what? I know I shouldn't be going this way because my map tells me. I know I shouldn't be going that way because my map tells me. That is my guidance. Some people would say, that's my intuition, because my map is going to let me know that I shouldn't be going that way. That's not the route to go. You knew better, but yet you didn't do better. So now you're finding yourself off course, and you're trying to figure out, how come I haven't found my treasure? Because you stopped looking at the map a long time ago. The paper and pen and the water. You stopped drinking water a long time ago because you felt you got it. You felt you good, right? So now you started passing out and getting a little bit woozy because you thought you had enough water because you felt you made it the last time you got there. The compass is going to bring you back on course too. You may feel lost just a little bit, but even in feeling lost, there is some level of conviction that takes place. Like, you know what? I'm starting seeing the same tree. So I must be walking in a circle. I'm not going to get to where I'm going because I know that I'm lost. So sometimes finding your treasure may take you sitting down with a mentor, or you sitting down with someone else in order for them to assist you with the guidance, because you found it hard to read the map. You might have to have somebody who's a better map reader than you. to assist you with reaching that particular goal. Because again, as it says, a concentration that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. Now let's go ahead and tap into this deep dive, because I want you to understand that there is a treasure within. But are you willing to have or possess the tools that you're going to need in order for you to find that treasure within? So let's go ahead and take this deep dive. So identifying your purpose in life is like the toughest task that you'll ever be faced with. Because remember, in the definition, it said the concentration that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered. A lot of times that lost or forgotten thing is our purpose, because again, identifying that purpose in life could be the toughest task that you'll ever face. But discovering your purpose is by far the most important treasure discovery that you will ever find. Right? Because if you know purpose, you know joy. If you know peace, you'll know patience. And I want you to say that. No peace, no patience. Not N-O, but no. But when you know peace, that means you know patience, because a lot of times it took you patience before you've gotten to the level of peace. It took turmoil and it took some hardships before you begin to allow, or before you begin to walk through the door of tranquility. Because if you know peace, you know patience, because it took you some time to get there. But did you know that your innate abilities are those treasure abilities that you were born with? Right? You were born with those innate abilities. That means that you were born with those treasures that are already within inside of you. It's not something that you have to learn, but it's something that is already within inside of you. Like it's yours. It's been yours, because you're the most impressive quality. Like you are. You are the most impressive quality that you can ever have. And don't refuse to acknowledge that. You are a treasure within yourself. Don't acknowledge that inside of you. Already there. It's been there. And there's two things that I want you to say with me. Like, I have talent. I think a lot of times we don't do things because we feel we don't have the talent to do it. A lot of times we don't accomplish things in our life because we feel we don't have the talent to do it. Sometimes we don't try things because we feel we don't have the talent to do it, because we've maybe heard somebody else say it, that we can't do it. But what do you say to you? And the second thing I want you to say is, I have gifts. Now, I've heard this plenty of times where a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't think I have any gifts." Yes, you do. You do. Those gifts have always been there. That's the treasure. So get your pickaxe, get your map, get your pen, get your compass, get your paper, and know that you have talents. Know that you have gifts. Your talents and your gifts don't look like anyone else's. It looks like yours. So stop gift watching and stop talent watching with other people and what they do, but know that you have it for yourself. Because if you continue to gift watch and talent watch, you begin to minimize your own innate ability. But stop doing that. Maximize it and take the risk on you. You taking a risk on somebody else. When are you going to start taking the risk on you? Because seeking validation and approval could be one of the most paralyzing things that you can ever do to your life. because you're waiting for somebody else to validate your gift, and you're waiting for somebody else to validate your talents, that you don't do it, that you stop working, that you stop breathing, that you stop striving. You paralyze and you self-sabotage everything that you ever had worked on or you want to work on because you were waiting for somebody else to validate your treasure. Like, yep, that's a diamond. Like, yep, that's a gold piece. Oh, thank you. So now you find it valuable because somebody else validated the gold that you knew you found a long time ago. Stop. Stop seeking that validation. Stop seeking that level of approval. You are the validator of your gifts, and you are the validator of your talents. Oftentimes, the reason why we don't find our treasures within, because we base it on our own stories that we tell ourselves about them. Like, what story do you tell yourself about your treasures? Like, what stories have you found? Like, why can't you find it? You're telling yourself they're nowhere to be found. I've looked for far too long and I don't think it exists. Many times you keep telling yourself these stories about your treasure, or saying that I don't know if I have a treasure, because you've never really looked. Because again, the many times you keep telling yourself this story, the longer that you will attract that level of belief system. And the more you hold on to that, you will forever be in opposition to your own desires. Like, you will be your own opposition, especially as you continue to tell yourself that this won't happen for me. Of course it won't happen for you, because you're now starting to believe it, because you said it so much and so long, and you said it to so many people, they even start to believe it. And now, because you believe it and they believe it, that doesn't make it actual factual. That means that you need to change the way that you see it. Change your belief system, and I guarantee you will change the outcome of what and how you do things. Like, tell yourself a different story, because those innate treasurers are the food for thought that you feed your inner commands, that feed your outer demands. Like, what do you command for yourself? Like, is it happiness? Is it peace? Is it prosperity? Is it love? Is it wealth? Is it discipline? Is it structure? Is it dedication? Like, what do you command for you? Like, what focus do you demand for yourself? The things that we demand for ourselves really lie within the fabrics of our focus. Like, remember the last definition, it says that the concentration that is considered lost and or forgotten until rediscovered, the concentration, because you lost concentration in who that you are, you lost the concentration in knowing the what that you have, because you no longer are considered focusing on you anymore. Because remember, the greatest gift that you can ever have and or possess is your gift of discovery. Right? Your gift of discovery is going to feed into the future you, because you're going to get more, because you want more, because you're focusing on more, you're talking about more, your talents are now being revealed a whole lot more, your gifts are now being revealed a whole lot more, because you're focusing on the more that you have. Like, change your focus and change your outcome. So close your eyes and focus on connecting yourself with those treasures within, and I promise you that you will find yourself along the way. And when you find yourself along the way, what's going to happen is those things are going to begin to open more doors, not just for you. It's going to begin to open more doors for the people that you surround yourself with. Why? Because you've opened the door. You started with you. You've acknowledged that you have the same key that everybody else have to open their doors in their life. You have a key to open yours. Find the right key. Like, what do I want to accomplish? I want to accomplish this. Like, how are you going to get there? I demand myself to be a lot more disciplined. I ensure that I'm going to read more, or I'm going to focus on this particular task. And once this task is completed, then I go on to the next task. You have to command more for yourself if you ever want to have an outcome that is achievable. Take that time, take that moment. Because remember, if you know peace, you know patience, right? Think about that for a little bit. If you know peace, you know patience. Patience takes time. Patience takes perseverance. Like a diamond, in order for a coal to transition to a diamond, it takes perseverance. Because how many times have you compound that pressure? How many times have you been pressured and pushed and the pain is there? It takes perseverance to know that at the end of all of this pain, there's going to be something that is going to shine so bright that I know that I worked on it, because it took patience, persistence, and perseverance. That you stop really focusing on the pain, because it took patience, persistence, and perseverance in order for you to get to that point that you know that you're striving for, and you know that you can obtain, because you have the patience to get there. All right, that's enough. All right. Man, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for being here. It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Text somebody today and tell them that you are a treasure. And then I want you to tell you that you are a treasure within. Because the greatest treasure that you can ever find right now is discovery. Because once you find discovery, you can discover your purpose. You can discover your passions. You can discover your direction. You can discover your gifts. You can discover all those other jewels that you have. But you have to discover you first. All right, that's enough. Man, y'all be blessed. Peace. Happy Monday.